What's up YouTube? Today I'm going to tell you guys how to mix your beats. Now this is kind of it's kind of up for interpretation because there's not a set way how to mix beats, but there definitely is a good way to start. Basically when you're mixing your beats, a lot of people when they first start out, including myself, think immediately like all these other famous rappers, like they have their beats really loud, like they sound really good. So naturally I think if everything's loud, it's gonna sound good. That is the worst mistake you can possibly make. All right, and here's why. When you have all of your tracks completely maxed out, like you're gonna have a bunch of clip distortion, a bunch of just clashing in the mix. All these frequencies are fighting for space. I highly recommend starting at a lower volume. And I know it's gonna be a pain because you're like, I just wanna listen to it loud, I wanna like actually hear it. But you can always just turn it up on your headset. You can always put a limiter on it while you're doing it so it's loud if you want that. The main reason you do that is so, like say I have a kick and a bass, like they're both kind of residing in that low range, and you want them both to be kind of, dominant in the mix. When you have a kick and a bass, one way to make sure that there's no like big frequency clashing is to equalize out the frequencies that are going to be clashing between them. What I mean by that is if you have like a kick that's mainly residing kind of up in the low mid range to kind of the high low range, like you're gonna wanna equalize out the part of the kick that's residing where the bass is, because that kind of causes a little bit of clashing where the bass frequencies are residing and causes a little bit of disruption in your bass line where you want it to be constant and just hitting. And like I said, it doesn't apply to every beat. Every beat's different. Not all beats are gonna have a heavy bass line, but the same concepts apply to everything. If you have things that the frequencies are clashing, you're going to want to try to spread each of the tracks or each of the instruments to where they have their own little sound spot. And some instruments you're going to want to blend together, and when you blend them, you want to make sure that their volumes in the mix are where they need to be. And it's really hard to explain that, like just to you guys just in a video. So I recommend going and listening to music that has already been mixed well, like professional artists, good producers that actually mix their beats extremely well, and you just kind of get an ear for that. Listen to them, listen to how they mix their melodies versus their vocals versus their bass and all their drums and kicks and accents. Like just really kind of dial into what they're doing and don't just listen to it for you want to be listening actively when you're listening to music if you're a producer. So the second thing I recommend doing when you're mixing your beats is not putting a limiter on it and putting it to the ceiling. What I mean by that is like you throw a limiter and you're like, all right, we're just gonna crank this track as loud as we can get it, all the way up to the limit of the limiter. And what you're doing then is essentially the same thing that you would be doing if you just maxed out all of your tracks in the mix. So all that work you did to get your mix sounding good at a lower volume is going to be in vain if you just slam it all to the top in a limiter. What you need to do with limiters is set it to where if you mixed it well already, you should have a fairly, stable dynamic range in your mix. So you should be able to get it pretty loud without smashing the top of your limiter with something that's too loud in your mix. And if there is something happening that's causing that to happen before the mix is even loud to you, then there's probably something in your mix that's too loud compared to everything else, and you need to go back and adjust that volume. Or there's frequencies clashing in your mix that you need to equalize to make it to where they don't clash anymore. So yeah, that's basically all I do when I mix. I just actively listen to other beats and then I apply that into my beats. But I don't want to exactly copy their styles, but I want to do it to where it sounds good on my beats. And you kind of have to just adapt and listen and really apply that to what you're doing. And I mean, I can't stress it enough, like a good mix can really make or break a beat. Like if you can have the best chords in the world, the best vocals in the world, and if they're mixed poorly, your beat is going to sound like trash. So this is probably one of the most important things when it comes to producing music, is just making sure that everything sounds good as a finished product. I mean, it takes some time if you're new to it. Don't get frustrated if you're just not getting the sound that you want, because you'll keep going. And I know from experience that, it does get frustrating, but you can keep going, just keep doing it, and eventually you'll start getting mixes that sound really, really good, that can be mastered and sound good. That's really all I've been doing for the past probably 4 or 5 years. So yeah, if you just follow those rules, and like, I guarantee you that you'll start getting better results. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like the video, please like it, subscribe to the channel. If you don't like the video, please dislike it. And if you don't like these videos and you're subscribed, unsubscribe. I'm not here to be in anybody's way. I'm not here to be a nuisance to anyone. I just want to help you guys learn how to mix your beats better and just make music. And thank you guys for watching the video, and y'all have a good day.